To the goofball army out there, hi the families. Tell them to get to the next room. Tell them to go to your neighbors because we got goofball news to go over, and it might get crazy.
Typically does, guys. If it's your first episode ever, you got like 30 seconds before we start, so not enough time to go to the bathroom, but go get a drink because trust me, you're probably going to need it there. In the meantime, the rest, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you know about future episodes as well, guys. Buckle your seatbelts if you haven't already. Make sure your tray is in the upright position here, guys, because we are just about ready to get going. And like, oof.
Guys, if you want a crazy ride going forward, a bunch of nonsense, but all nothing but the truth about the Giants, listen in, buckle in, tell a friend.
Let's go.
And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by
me, Rob. And guess what, Drew? You know what this week is? Football!
About goddamn time. And I had to break out the old school 2008 NFC East Division champion shirt for this because I'm hoping for some old school Giants here. So, we'll find out. It's still early, guys, but we're going to go over everything with you here as far as the the preview of the game here, giving you guys first off a rundown of everything that's happened to the Commanders since we've seen them last. A lot has changed. We're going to also go through as far as the couple of positions that are potentially up in the air, though I think a lot of that's BS. And we're also going to talk about, of course, the keys to victory for the New York Giants, guys. It's always interesting trying to do it at week one. So it's like other weeks we can go back and like, oh, well, they're good at this, we're good at this, blah, blah, blah. We don't know. That's the beauty of it. I love week one for that.
Yeah.
It's exciting because we haven't had football in so long, but it's also exciting because you have no clue what to expect.
You don't, but also remember this. The last time the Commanders played football was a lot sooner than the last time the Giants played football.
Yes.
A lot sooner is a few weeks, but still.
Yeah, like I said,
Just put it out there.
It's going to be a fun one, guys. All right, let's get started here. All right, and before we get started here on the game itself, Deb already put in the comments. We got to put it on there. The Giants did also go ahead and sell. It's been announced tonight that they've sold 10% of the franchise for $1 billion.
So when I went to Fireball, you know what I bought.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it has been sold to the billionaire Koch family, which Julia, I don't know the members of the family. I think everybody knows of the family. They have a lot of money. They've done a lot of things over years with money. Been big people as far as political stuff.
Shut up and take my money.
So, but listen, it is what it is, guys. Nothing is going to happen whatsoever different to the Giants. All this is an influx of cash for the Mara and Tisch family. So I'm sure, again, I don't pretend to know the exact particulars of how that sale goes through, but they own half each. I'm sure they each gave up 5%. I'm sure they're each going to get $500 million now.
It's just money in their pocket, but you also got to remember too, what family just bought into this?
The Koch. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, Koch. Again, all I know them from is the political donation stuff, which again, we're not going to get into politics.
Yeah. I was just saying, when you get a medium Coke, it might be a large now.
Oh gosh. Oh God.
All right, on to the next.
Maybe they bring in Pepsi to avoid the confusion.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now they also, same family also owns 15% of the BSE Global, which is the parent company of the Nets, the Liberty, and the Barclays as well. So They're definitely getting big into New York sports in general there. But like I said, the Koch family. Everybody, like I said, everybody knows of them because they are freaking loaded. These are the people that basically have more money than they know what to do with. It is what it is. It's a 10% stake. Nothing is going to change whatsoever. I really think it's 100% just an influx of cash, and that's it. So, that's all it is. So let's get into the game itself here, guys. So first off, let's reintroduce ourselves with the Washington Commanders. Because again, a lot's changed. I mean, you see there on the thumbnail, even that's a new face right there, even that we'll get into in just a minute. No, I know it looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but it's not. It's not. It's actually a new member of the Washington Commanders here. So listen, we play them twice a year. We have a good grasp, if you're a regular Giants fan, of the Commanders, what they've been the last 2 years. Obviously, last year was a year that this is, a totally different team, basically, you could say. They get 12 wins. They go to the NFC Championship game. Obviously you got the star rookie quarterback in Jayden Daniels, but they've definitely done some moves to build around. That's what you're going to do. When you win 12 games, you go to the NFC Championship game. You're going to add. That's an adding time. Let's add things, especially while we have a rookie deal for a quarterback, So the Commanders, what they've done is they made a couple of trades. They traded for left tackle Laremy Tunsil, who's been basically one of the best left tackles in all of football to ever wear a gas mask. Yeah. Listen, he's always going to be known for the gas mask incident. For those who don't know, when he first was coming out of college, there was a picture that posted him on social media where he was wearing a gas mask. Obviously, everybody was assuming he was using it for some kind of drugs. And he dropped. And the Dolphins got him, who eventually traded him to the Texans. Now, years later, the Texans have now traded him to the Commanders. Still just 31 years old. He's made the Pro Bowl 5 of the last 6 years. The only year he didn't make it, he played 5 games back in 2021. So, yeah, I can tell you now why he didn't make it.
Yeah.
Didn't play.
Which is an upgrade out of that squad.
It's a huge upgrade, guys. And they really didn't give up necessarily a ton as of right now. So what they gave up in that deal was a 4th rounder in the past draft that just passed. They also gave up a 3rd and 7th, though, next year. So they gave up some capital, that's for sure, to get them. 3 picks in total, but only 1 they've lost so far. So nothing that stopped them for this season as far as building. But yeah, great player. Like, listen, you want to talk about a way to stop a pass rush? Laremy Tunsil is a way to stop the pass rush. That guy's legit.
Yeah. And it's fairly cheap, per se, because you don't know, obviously,
what he gave up for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, good move overall. And again, we've talked about it all when we were actually scouting him in the draft, even. If there's one thing with Jayden Daniels, you better protect him because he's undersized. He's about 15 pounds light compared to the average NFL quarterback at 210 pounds. And that's if you believe the actual playing weight.
Yeah, which
I've said before. Who knows?
There might be a Reddit page on subreddit page about how light he is.
Yeah, I think he's more like 205 probably, which would put him at 20 pounds lighter. That's a big difference. That's 10% of the body weight they're gone, basically. They also traded for wide receiver Deebo Samuel, who's also obviously pretty well known in the league, played with the 49ers for many years. Last year, 15 games, 51 catches, 670 yards, 3 touchdowns, 42 rushes for 136 yards and 1 touchdown. That's 806 total yards. He's that kind of gadget receiver that you have to kind of look at total yards, not just what he did as far as receiving wise.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that they'll use him in the backfield as a running back. They'll use him like in a wildcat kind of similarity. And slot behind the line, straight down. He's the quintessential Swiss Army knife, if you will.
Yes.
But you also have to remember he came from San Francisco at the time, who had some great receiving cores, and he had some good complementary players where he had some of his best years.
And also, they had Shanahan.
A good line.
Shanahan is a good offensive mind. He doesn't know how to scheme when you're up in a Super Bowl, but overall, He is a very good offensive mind who's very good at creative and using him there. Now, here's the negatives with Deebo, and I'm not trying to be full on negative on Deebo. He's a legit player in the NFL, but he hasn't played in a full season since 2021. This is the 2025 season, guys. He hasn't gone over 1,000 total yards since that year, 2021 as well. So again, we're talking he's very much removed from the best year of him, which is that 21 where he had 1,770 total yards. That's only 30% of his career yards in one season. He's 6 years in.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, I think he's been kind of living off that 1 year for too long.
You literally just took the words out of my mouth. If you're a fantasy player, like you drafted this guy high up, like you're looking for fool's gold. Like if you got him in 21, like you find the diamond in the rough there. But other than that, like he's not played well. Well, I'm just saying, like if you play fantasy football, you obviously see with these player stats all around the league. So I'm just putting it out there, like he has not had that season since then, and Planet knows.
But everybody still gives him that kind of respect. He's that kind of player. Like when you have one great season, all of a sudden you're like, ooh. But he hasn't been that guy in 4 years, guys. That's a long time. Here's the crazy part. So he averages for his career 989 total yards per season. If you take that 1 year out, it drops all the way to 833. It's a big difference.
Very big difference, but it's also both are very respectable players in the NFL. Just one way more than the other.
Huh?
You said what? 900.
So 989. Oh, okay. I thought okay. You're saying both those numbers are respectable. I thought you said both those players. We're talking about one player.
Both those numbers. Both those numbers are very respectable in the NFL. Like, if you had Slade put up 833 yards on average, you'd be like, oh my God, look at how great players. And we were talking about him at 700 yards being a respectable player in the NFL. That's what I'm saying. Like, so you want to go from like saying 833 for just shy of 1,000 yards a season. Like, both are very respectable players. Just,
and that's
the other.
Like Deebo's still a good player. Like, I'm not trying to knock him in that regard. I just think he's not the elite player that people give him some of the respect for because of that one season. And all they had to do, the Commanders, was give up a 5th round pick to get him. So obviously the 49ers also agreed that he wasn't the player he was back in 2021 there. That's for sure. What I thought was kind of interesting of the move overall is I feel like they got a newer version of Curtis Samuel, who they had and lost to the Bills last year. A better version of him, but almost the same player. A guy who's a receiver, is kind of a gadget player that runs the ball occasionally as well too. Like, again, better than Curtis Samuel. I'm not trying to knock him, but the same kind of player. It's kind of crazy that and he'll obviously be wide receiver 2 right behind Scary Terry there. Signed as a free agent. Von Miller, we talked about him on the show. Again, he's, I think, 15 years removed from a good season at this point in his career. Like, that's just what he is. Like, I'm trying to be rude about it. He was a great player back in the day, like Hall of Famer.
Fantastic.
Probably. Yeah, like he hasn't cracked double-digit sacks since 2018, guys. And I know sacks aren't everything, obviously. But last year, 13 games, 17 tackles, 6 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 8 QB hits. He's not nearly the player he once was. And again, he's 36 years old. Who the hell is at 36 years old who they were at 25 or 28? That's just life.
Yeah, I wonder if that's more of like a veteran move that would be like that veteran kind of mentor coach to the younger guys out there.
I think honestly they were trying to replace somebody who we'll get to in a minute when we talk about guys they lost, but they were trying to replace somebody, and it got down to the point where they didn't have anybody legit to replace him with. So they just got the guy who's the big name veteran guy, and like you said, hoping he'd coach up the room a little bit and hoping he'd help out in that regard. But they're definitely missing a big name pass rusher from last year, that's for sure.
Yep.
Also added Dietrich Wise, the defensive lineman last year with the Patriots, 39 tackles, 5 sacks. Javon Kinlaw, who those of y'all who watch the Jets are aware of him as well. Obviously was a longtime 49er prior to that as well. 40 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 5 tackles for loss last year in all 17 games there for the Jets. Cornerback Jonathan Jones started 14 games for the Patriots last year. And Will Harris, who started 13 games for the Saints last year, had 74 tackles and 1 interception. So they've added some stuff to defense there, obviously. It's all defensive players we're talking about there.
Which was a problem for them last year.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically a top-tier offense and an average defense, which is funny having, Dan Quinn, who's obviously well-respected as a defensive mind in the NFL. Ironically, to talk about Kyle Shanahan, also, though, can't play from behind, can't play well from ahead in the Super Bowl, just saying. Well, back to that.
Something got it coming.
One guy we have to mention who wasn't necessarily an off-season move, but they did add mid-year last year, and this is past us playing them the 2 times. Marshon Lattimore, the cornerback, formerly of the Saints, who also was a mentor to Paulson and Deebo, the Giants got this offseason here from the Saints as well. Played in just 9 games last year, was a 4-time Pro Bowler, but again, has not been a Pro Bowler since 2021. Started his career literally 4 out of 5 years going to be in the Pro Bowl and just hasn't done it since. Still a damn good player, don't get me wrong. Just he's gone from being great to very good.
Listen, very good. Still very good for in NFL. Like it's still a long career. Like it's still
better than anybody they've had at the corner position in years in Washington.
At least half a decade.
Yeah, I mean, so that's just the truth of the matter there. So again, we'll have to see what he is at this point. There, he played the last 2 games for the Commanders, for also playing in their postseason run as well. So, he's not that he didn't come back at all last year. It's just he missed a lot of time. Speaking of missed, here's what they lost last year. This offseason, I should say. Defensive tackle Jonathan Allen, who's always obviously been with the Commanders since he got in the league. Feels like he's been in forever. Last year, 8 games, 19 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and 7 QB hits. Good big-time pass rusher from that defensive tackle position, but also a good run stopper as well there. It's definitely a big loss for them. Edge rusher Dante Fowler Jr., who was the big pass rusher I was mentioning, they're also missing out. Last year, 39 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, and 12 QB hits. And they definitely don't have a guy in this roster that replaces 10.5 sacks. Nope. Dyami Brown, the wide receiver, also gone. 30 catches, 308 yards, and a touchdown last year. Cornerback Benjamin St-Juste was 14 game starts last year, 71 tackles, 7 passes deflected. Also, late in the offseason, during camp, actually, they cut running back Brian Robertson Jr., who I think most Giants fans remember him from last year, but he ran for 132 yards versus the Giants in that first game that they beat us in there week 2. Last year for him, 14 games, 799 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns, and 159 receiving yards added on top of that there. So guy's been like the quintessential commander. He was that guy we talked about. He's not going to go 10 yards down the field on a run, but he's going to get you 3-4 yards every time he touches the ball, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah. It was. Yeah.
And he's now a 49er. So you talk about fantasy owners. When Christian McCaffrey goes down again, guys, just saying.
Listen, everyone that's a fantasy owner knows that if CMC is not the first overall draft pick, he has a great year. So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Think about as your RB3.
Here's what they got in the draft. Tackle Josh Connerly from Oregon in the first round. Pretty good guy. We thought more of a second round pick, but he's going to be, playing at the right tackle position, obviously. Trey Amos in the second round, the corner out of Ole Miss, played for a few other schools as well. That's a good pick up there. Probably going to be, if I had to guess, they're a guy that does have a decent impact on this defense. So they've definitely improved the corner position and the secondary overall since last we've seen the Commanders there. They also added Jalen Lane, the wide receiver, Kane Medrano, the linebacker, and Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, the running back, who is a lot of people think is going to have a massive role with the Commanders this year for a guy that was picked, late day 3 at that point there. I've heard people on fantasy even picking him up, thinking he's going to be like a big player for them. Austin Eckler obviously is considered their starter, but we all know what Austin Eckler is. He's not necessarily a running back. He's more of a pass catching running back at this point in his career. So, maybe that's what happens. But
I mean, we want to go down in a fantasy thing, but I mean, 3 leagues this year and was a 12-man league, and no one that I know has picked him up. I mean, you might want to reserve him down the road as something, but Eckler is a guy that could get injured.
Yep.
But he's also a guy that, once again, kind of fits a scheme where give the ball to Jayden Daniels and let him throw it down the field.
I mean, that's what they're going for. They're going for a full passing attack offense this year at that point, I feel like.
Yeah.
But, we'll see what happens. But that's what you got for the Commanders as far as the changes since last we've seen them. I think they've added some good pieces, but I think they've added a lot of aging pieces as well. Like the young pieces they've lost at that point there. Because, again, Dante Fowler still kind of in his prime. Just had 10.5 sacks. Jonathan Allen still kind of towards the tail end of his prime as well. They've lost some guys there, and they added people in the process. But I can't honestly sit there and say that this is a better defense with all the moves on defense than what it was, because it's all contingent on one thing: that secondary being better. And that pass rush definitely went down, which, as we all know, hurts a secondary.
Big time.
So, yeah, like I said, I'm curious to see what happens this year with them. I think they're going to take a step back personally. I think
I've been seeing that.
Tape
I've
is
been seeing
out
it for a little bit. Yep.
Yeah. Like
tape's out. Defense is weak. Offense was a surprise coming from a defensive head of my coach. So everyone's like, "Oh my God, look at him throw the ball down the field." No one expected that. They expected a big run game from Junior over there, and it was there, but it was kind of like the last minute audible kind of choice. Yeah. So it's I think it's going to be. I'm not saying they're not going to be good this year. I'm saying it's going to take a step back.
Surprises,
100%. Thinking about Houston Texans when they had C.J. Stroud, everyone's like, "Look at them! They're amazing. They're going to be dominant in the AFC South for the next 10 years." Blah 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 blah. What happened last year?
Yeah, and then they also got excited because they added a wide receiver and Stephon Diggs, who people were.
He was also aging.
Guess what? Deebo Samuel is their Stephon Diggs then.
Yeah,
ironically enough, Laremy Tunsil was the left tackle on that team last year.
Fault.
We'll see what happens. I think the line. Listen, we obviously Laremy Tunsil is a freaking stud. Josh Connerly is a good player, but he's a rookie. You never know what you're going to get out of a rookie. They still got some issues on that line. The Giants can still get through. So, all right. Let's talk real quick about who's going to start on Sunday, because that's one of the big things that's been kind of talked about this week as well. So Brian Daboll refused to answer who's going to be the starter at the right guard position and who's going to be starting at the corner position. The depth chart literally had 2 spots, T1 for CB2 for Deonte Banks and Cordell Flott. Like, they refused to go ahead and even say who was going to be the actual starter there. Listen, guys, I hate to say it this way, but I'm going to say it this way because I wish this wasn't the case. Cordell Flott, to me, should be the starter. Let me just say that point blank. Cordell Flott should be the starter. But Banks is going to get the job, I think, because he's that first-round pick, because he's a pick from the Daboll Shane era. Like, they're trying to validate that move. Good luck. Get better luck validating your parking.
So here's my 2 cents on it. Like,
go for 3.
Sure. Here you go. Here's the 1 cent. It's like, you're 100% right, and I agree with you. So they're putting that out there, like, and they don't want to admit defeat, but they're going to cash in that extra cent and put Flott in starts at second, because come game day, against one of the biggest rivals that you should be beaten, like we've had the history of beating, do you take the chance over your ego and lose the game, or do you put the best man in the field? At the end of the day, I think Dable and Shane both know you got to put the best man in the field. Otherwise, your asses are looking for new jobs.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the interesting part is going to be is that obviously whoever has DB2 has Deebo Samuel. That's their guy to carry, go through the game with her at that point. Deebo Samuel, I made the joke before, but I mean, like, he looks out of shape as hell. Every picture I've seen of him in Washington's camp. Like, and he's always had a little bit of a weight problem. He's been battling at that point there. He definitely has had one too many trips at the Golden Corral. But
he's my buddy.
I'm telling you, like, it's for a guy who has a lot of speed, it should be an easy coverage for him. And this is Banks, I'm saying specifically. He is the faster, more athletic player than Deebo Samuel is. Now, the one thing you could say is Deebo's bigger, can bully him around a little bit potentially. But, Deebo is like, one chicken fried steak away from being a tight end at this point. He just doesn't have the height. He looked fat. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'm gonna call it.
It almost looks like what's his face? The running back that almost looks like the fullback from Green Bay a few years ago.
Oh my god.
It's
just
like the same.
Like I said, it's just what he's like. Listen, he could be one step away from Gilbert Brown here at that point. But I feel like, again, it should be an easy cover for Banks. And if he has trouble with Samuel, being that he has the upper hand in speed, he has the upper hand in agility, and all these things that should count, it's going to be into an issue there. And I think we're going to find out really quickly how short of a rope there, so to speak, is on Banks if he is a starter, and we're right on that. Because I'm with you. Like, if he's struggling, take him out. We can't lose the game because Deonte Banks needed to be coddled.
Look how well we played them last year.
Yes.
And how far they went into the NFC Championship.
Like, we would have won if we had a damn kicker that week too.
That's what I'm saying. That's the worst out of the we've had against the Commanders in 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, both of them, if I remember right, were close as well. Week 2 is the one that sticks out at me because that's the one everybody complained that, that we had the one drop there towards the end by Malik Neighbors. But yeah, it is what it is. We lost by 5 points to them later on in November. So we literally lost by a total of 8 points both games. That's pretty damn close.
Yeah, and there's a couple extra points missed. There's some silly plays playing from behind.
Also, we would have been in field goal range, and we had to worry about the drop that Neighbors had. Well, again, don't blame Neighbors on the drop when he scored 2 touchdowns at the game as well. That's a whole other thing there.
Oh, yeah.
I will stick up for that man on that game all day long. So we'll see what happens. But that's our guess. Deonte Banks starts at corner. Cordell Flott's kind of waiting in the wing where if Banks screws up, he can go in. But I think the problem you run into with Banks is that if you yank him, I don't think you can put him back in. Like, I think that's the issue. Like, have you just basically announced it's a bad experiment and you're done with him?
No.
Like, has to lose the job. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but it's also like maybe week 1 you put him on a short leash. Maybe you're right. Maybe he starts short leash, but you have to say, like, hey, listen, Banks, you're wrapped around this figure. You're on a short leash. So, we will cut you. You will not have a job, and you'll be out of the NFL. Like, you want to start making money in the NFL, like, you have to start producing. Like, you have to have that tough conversation with them. Maybe not to be blunt like that, but, like, you have to have that tough conversation. Like, you need to step up. Like, you think you were going to sit here and be, like, coddled as number 1 overall? Like, yeah, a little bit, but at the end of the day, like, you need to start producing. When you got a guy that's drafted on day 2, day 3, that's taking your job, that's an issue on you, not on us.
Yeah, I mean, because Flott was a 3rd round pick, and he was most people had him as a 4th or 5th round pick. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to like diminish what he's doing, because I think actually Floss should be given some kudos for really improving the last couple of years. Like I said, we talked about the end of the preseason. He literally had the highest PFF grade of any Giants player at the end of the preseason. Considering how good the team was in the preseason, that's impressive. Again,
we talked about it a couple of years ago. We were like, "Whoa, was flat? Why are we taking where we did?" But like now, like he's come too.
Yep. Like I said, we'll see what happens there, but I think we're going to find out a lot about how much coddling they're going to do for Banks there, based on how he plays.
Cut it out.
Right guard is the other spot that for some reason, and I don't understand why he's refusing to say it. Like, so everybody's assuming that it's Greg Van Roten or Evan Neal, obviously, would be the guy people would think potentially that they do. But it's like, again, if you put Evan Neal in over Greg Van Roten, to me, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that you're basically just, again, see, we talked about Bank. You're just trying to validate your picks. Because let's be honest, really great draft class last year. We think it's going to be a really great draft class this year. Again, we got to see him play. I don't want to sit there and go premature on that call. But the first 2 ones that Joe Shane had, horrendous.
Yeah.
And if he starts Banks and starts Evan Neal just to try to validate the jobs he did the first couple of years, then that's a big issue for me. Like, your job is to win, not to validate your prior moves that you made mistakes on.
100%. Listen, that's part of winning. It's like, if you could admit to your mistakes you made in the past and cutting them short,
yep,
that's a winner there. That's not someone that's trying to hold into the future with someone that's losing. It's like, yeah.
And that,
but
you're right.
I think I do think this one is a little bit more of a clickbait kind of thing. I do think we know who's going to start.
Oh yeah,
kind of watching what happened. Kind of what happened in the offseason. Watching what happened in the offseason, and like watching what happened in the preseason. Like, kind of see the moves that are happening.
Yep.
But you don't announce this because, all right, what if instead of playing the Commanders really close, they beat us 40-23 or whatever it may be, and they're going to be talking about like, oh, Banks started over here, and this like. That's going to be a conversation that's not going to be had, like, if when you start Van Roten.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like, oh, like, they did the right decision by starting this guy, but they still lost.
Yeah.
So it's kind of something like you're kind of putting that out there.
And no GM is perfect on picks. Let's be very clear on that. Again, no GM is usually as bad as Joe Sheen was the first 2 years at drafting. But I feel like you can't sit there and force the guy out there. I have more respect for you saying, you know what, we just missed on this guy. We're done. I would much prefer that. I have no issue with that whatsoever. So listen, Greg Van Roten should be starting at right guard. The only reason anybody else should be starting at right guard is because Greg Van Roten gets moved to center because JMS gets taken out.
Or
he's hurt.
No, I was going to say, or Greg Van Roten.
I want to do it. I don't want to do it. We're going to be healthy this year, goddammit. We're going to be healthy.
Gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
All right, just gotta do it.
We do got to talk about one more note as well in the depth chart overall, because I see y'all in the chat all excited about this here. Rookie quarterback Jackson Dart is listed officially as the second quarterback on the depth chart. There's been a lot of speculation on would he potentially leapfrog Jameis Winston, and apparently he has. Now,
whoa. Just want to put this clear out there. He did a little bit of a leapfrog, but Winston did a crab leg and rolled right under Dart.
Oh God. Here's my thing on that, guys. You can do whatever you want in the depth chart. That is not set in stone. That is not a guarantee of anything. Let's say hypothetically, and I almost don't want to say this. I don't want to put this out there in the world. Let's say hypothetically, in the second quarter of the game on Sunday, Russell Wilson gets hit and he gets hurt and he's out of the game. That doesn't mean Deebo has to put Jackson Dart in. If anything, they're just trying to give him a little reward for the fact that he played so well in preseason. The plan is still the plan. You don't put Dart in until he's ready. So,
Drew, you spin the fact right there. It's what that is an acknowledgement and a kudos, and it's, hey, to the fans, look at our future, is what that is. It is like, Russ is our guy. We know he's Asian, but he's the guy that's in the balance. Winston's definitely our plan of mediating between our future. Dart is our future. That's why he's our number 2. We want to see him play, but not quite yet.
But again, we're making assumptions because we kind of have to. They're not going to tell us what it is. Because here's my other thing, is that Jackson Dart, okay, hypothetically, they may think he's more ready than we thought. So that very well may what happens. And also, I see you, Deb, in the comments there pointing out as well the fact that, and she's 100% right in this, the only way that Jameis Winston can go in ahead of Jackson Dart is if all 3 of them are on the active roster for game day. If one of them is treated as an emergency quarterback, they can only go in if the other 2 are injured. So, again, we'll have to see. That's just, what it is. And I don't know, again, what their plan is on game day with that. But that's going to be something interesting to watch on Sunday. That's why they'll probably announce that kind of stuff. And if Winston is listed as a 3rd emergency quarterback, then yeah, if Russell Wilson goes down, Dart's in. And I think that move right there is going to tell you a lot on what the confidence truly is with Jackson Dart in this. If Jackson Dart is the 2nd quarterback and Winston is listed as a 3rd string emergency quarterback, because that's the difference. Not on the active game day roster, but can come into the other 2 get injured. That tells you Brian Daboll has a lot of faith in this kid. And it's not BS. It's not smoke and mirrors. He's saying point blank, if Wilson gets out, he's in. He's our guy.
Yeah. So that being said, Deb, just so you know, like, you could always have 3 quarterbacks on your roster if you have the roster space. It just typically doesn't make sense.
Yes.
If you have out there. So if you go out there and there's 3 active quarterbacks, you know what's going on.
Yep. Let's see here. Let me go into the comments here we have there. First off, Jay says Drew has 17-year-old t-shirts. Damn straight I have a 17-year-old Giants shirt on. This was the good days. Anybody who forgets the 2008 Giants, by the way, started 11-1. Plexico shoots himself, ends up 12-4, and out in the first round of the playoffs. That was probably the best team Eli ever had.
100%. They shot their load too early, though.
That's a totally different kind of shooting. Oh my God. Let's see here. And then Anthony says JDC, who's listed at QB2, got the dart symbol there. Jason's QB of the future. Anthony says our boy. Jason, I'm pumped about watching him play this season. And Deb said, I think the original QB plan changed because Dart progressed faster than they thought. 100%. And I think, again, we said into the draft that he was going to need more time because he was in that Lane Kiffin offense. He had to learn kind of to read the whole field better and read defenses and the stuff that you don't necessarily need in a Lane Kiffin offense. And I think it's safe to say now that Lane Kiffin was probably holding him back.
Probably fair.
And again, we'll have to see. We haven't seen a regular season. We're going off of just what we saw in the preseason. But it's safe to say that's a good possibility there. Anthony says, I can't wait to see him rip it. Jay says, Russ,
Rip it.
glue factory by week 5. He's not a Bronco anymore.
Oh, stop.
Stop it. He says, Jay says, you got to understand one pick or a few bad passes at MetLife and the Dart chance will start. 100%. But I will say this as well. He's going to throw a pick at some point, guys. Breaking news, Russell Wilson will throw a pick at some point. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's the first 2 games are away.
But you guys also got to remember, like, Dart also will throw an interception at some point. Like, if he doesn't, then he'll be absolutely, like, being remembered in Giants history is the only quarterback that did throw an interception.
How crazy would it be? And listen, obviously, this is not the outcome I'm hoping for. But how crazy would it be if Russell Wilson stinks the first 2 games, the Giants start 0-2, and then Jackson Dart starts week 3?
It goes 12-2.
Like, I don't know about that, but I'm still saying it's going to be crazy. Dip says, I don't know, Jay, if Russ is playing well. I don't think they pull him. Agreed. I think as long as Russ is playing well,
not even well.
Antithesis might be for Jay. Yeah, like he's just got to play not embarrassing, basically. And for
just above mediocre.
If he's playing just good, not great, good.
Yeah.
And he gets pulled, then that just means right there that there is so much confidence in Jackson Dart by Brian Daboll and the rest of this Giants team that he better be ready. Because don't start him too early if he's not there.
Don't GG
him. And then Deb says, I don't mind Russ starting a few games to make sure the O-line has their crap together. Listen,
use him as bait.
When have we ever had let's get Andrew Thomas going before we Anthony says, don't say it, Drew. I had to. It's an option. Jason says to use tire salesman with a 17-year-old t-shirt. I don't even sell tires.
Listen, he's Shane Gillis.
If Wilson is the emergency, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, 100% right on that. So that's what I'm saying. Game day, we'll have to see what happens there. Jason's starting to tire of your pro Russ propaganda. I'm just pro Giants, man. Honestly, I'm not pro Russ. I'm not pro Dart. I'm pro Giants. I just want to win some goddamn games.
Yeah, way more than 3.
Let's be honest here. Rob and I will enjoy this show much more with y'all if we're winning.
100%. Listen, I don't want to go back to therapy with you guys.
Yeah,
I don't mind going to therapy with you guys. But
how does that make you feel? The Giants lost again. Deb says not Wilson, Winston. Jay says the whole thing is weird. Jameis as QB3 is crazy. He could start in this league. He could if he was on the Saints. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know of a single other place except maybe the Browns where he played last year that I would say he could be a legit starter. Unless you put him in a situation at Tennessee where you got a chance for Cam Ward to sit for a little bit, something like that. But there's not a lot of places, but there are definitely places that I could say that our quarterback 3 is better than their starter. How crazy is that? Think about that for what I just said for a minute.
The past 5 years.
Have a quarterback 3 that is better than some teams' starting quarterbacks.
For the past 5 years.
God damn.
Something that's absolutely absurd.
Yeah. Like I said, it's craziness there. Sean Jackson says, good evening, fellas. Just checked in. When I see your 2008 Giants shirt, I feel like we owe the Eagles a eternal beatdown payback for how they ended our season that year. Plex owes us to eternal. Yes. Max says week 1 is weird. Really worried about that D line coming down from New York. Yeah, I mean, I listen. First off, it's not bad. Always good to see fans of other teams in the show as well. But yeah, listen. We don't know what to expect. That's the beauty of it. We don't know what to expect. Again, Commanders added some good tackles as well this offseason. So, Go Big Blue says, okay, so we're playing the what ifs game. What if Wilson taking us to 11, 13 wins, having a great season? Do we sign another contract or still start Dart next year? That depends on how Dart looks. And I don't mean even in games, in practice. I'm telling you right now, if he looks good in practice and the Giants are confident of him next year, he's basically J.J. McCarthy and Russell Wilson and Sam Darnold. It's the same issue. You're not going to keep a 36-year-old quarterback and not try to develop your first-round pick quarterback.
It depends. It depends how cheap you get Russ. That's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter how well Dart plays. Doesn't matter how well Dart plays. You have him at a cheap contract. If you can protect him and develop him to be even better than he was, looking great this year, even though he's a QB2, and you can get Russ at a very cheap deal, come to next year being a mentor again, you keep Russ.
I'm going to give
you keep him on a short leash, and you say, Russ, as soon as you start falling off, we think you start falling off, we're putting Dart in. You have to know the expectations when we sign you. That's what it's going to be. He agrees to it, you sign Russ right away. Because guess what? Russ as a QB2 is, once again, a great QB2.
Honestly, I think if that scenario happens, Russell Wilson is going to say, "I'm not coming back."
He might, but if he agrees to the terms that you said,
where he could potentially start, even if it's a place he thinks he has a better chance. Like that's what it boils down to. Like, if you told that to Russell Wilson, why would Russell Wilson not go, you know what? I'm just going to go to the Saints. They got a young quarterback as well, but he's maybe not ready to start. Maybe I can start for a few more games, just like that. I can make a little more money because they need a mentor and stuff like that. Like, there's no reason for Russell Wilson to come back to that. I don't think it makes any sense for Russell Wilson to come back.
Whoa. 100% does. What are you talking about?
No.
His ego, hands down. He goes, turns around and says, hey, guess what? I helped that kid develop.
I don't think he cares about that.
What are you talking about? Post NFL career? You see, how many years he's got left? And
I'm telling you right now.
You sit there and finish. You don't tell me this guy that doesn't have an ego. He sits there and finish. Be like, I helped this guy develop. If he wants to get into coaching, look at what I did with Dart over there. Oh, look what I helped to develop over here. Like, I hear what you're saying with wanting to start, but like, there's not many teams you're going to start and win at.
No,
you go back to the Giants, but if you go back to the Giants and still win, and you tell them like, all right, you have to improve your offensive line, and blah blah. You say anything, you can still put it in the contract where he goes there, and it turns into a whole
turn around,
a Kurt situation. So I think he could manipulate that in a sales pitch to Russell, where he comes back and plays for us. And then if he wants to coach a job down the line, or he can go on broadcast and be like, oh,
he's going to go to broadcasting. That's where he's going to go. I'm telling you right now, he's going into broadcasting. That man talks too much like a politician. He is definitely going to broadcasting. There's no doubt in my mind. So that's what I'm saying. We'll see what happens. And you never know what's going to happen. Any of us can be right or wrong. That's the beauty of talking sports before things happen. But I don't see a shot in hell, barring something bad happening with Dart, that Russell Wilson is a Giant next year. Like, I think that would more stifle Dart at that point. So, and that's your goal is to develop him.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, we've talked about Dart prior to the season. Like, the longer you sit them, the more chance they have to develop.
Yeah.
So you sit them for a half a season next year.
No, we're not sitting Dart for a year and a half.
Oh, all right. Now you're talking about all those fans saying that you have to start them right away.
No, I didn't. I said,
no, I'm just saying, listen, the longer you have a chance to develop a quarterback that's sitting behind you, that's an active, that's started in the league, they typically play better overall. Like, look at Green Bay. Look at Green Bay's motto.
Like, turn them into that 5-year-old kid is still breastfeeding.
What's that?
You're starting to turn them into that 5-year-old kid is still breastfeeding.
Oh no! Stop.
That's what you're turning.
You're just trying to turn them into a 3-year-old that gets beat by every parent. Whatever.
No, I'm just saying. After a year, if you can't make it, you're done. You don't need to sit for 5 years.
That's not true.
That's a project quarterback. He's not supposed
to be
a quarterback as a first-round pick like that. Not that much of a project.
I'm not saying it has to be that much of a project. You just want to develop him because you want to make sure you have the best product. You want to make sure you have the best product that comes out to the line. You don't want to rush your product out and not have faults in it. That's what you want to do.
You don't want to sit a project for long and then play him and realize he was crap after all that, and you could have been developing somebody else.
You still got a rookie deal though. You don't win there.
You know what else I think? I think it's time to thank Anthony for the $9.99 super chat, man. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, man, for always supporting the show. As Jay says, you want more dancing? Of course he wants more dancing. Everybody wants more dancing. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Jay says, all the talk about defense, I can totally see teams just running down our throat. I do not disagree there at all. That's a very scary proposition. That's why the Giants have to put points on the board to force other teams to pass. Anthony says, go Big Blue. It says, go Big Blue. Do that. Press send too quick. LOL. Jay says, the season doesn't start until Dart is playing. It starts on Sunday.
The season doesn't start till Dart starts playing. I don't care.
Austin says, how do you feel about the Giants losing Tommy Cutlets? Listen, we'll miss him, but more power to him. If he's going to go to a place where he has a chance to actually potentially be even the backup quarterback as opposed to being the practice squad quarterback, then all power to him. Honestly, I root for the kid still.
100%. Come back to Clifton and go back to the diner. I'll meet you there, bud.
Jay says, Rob, that's like taking an old Dyson over a new Kirby. It makes no sense whatsoever. Without talking vacuum cleaners, I think we're probably we got to hold the record for the content creators of any NFL show that talks most about vacuum cleaners. Like, we have to have the record for that, probably.
We probably did that in one episode.
Yeah, probably. Jay says, Rob, league after this year, mark my words. H-Town, Texas, I'm assuming Houston. He says, hopefully situational play calling awareness is a consistent thing that the coaches use this season. It's desperately needed. I think, honestly, if they continue with Kafka calling the plays, which I haven't heard anything finalized, but you got to think because he did it all during the preseason, I think you're going to see a much improved play calling this year. I really do. Anthony says, I don't know about out of the league, but I think this is the last starting season. Honestly, if he can't get a starting job, I think he'll walk away. I really do. I think his ego is too big for that. And I don't even mean that's a negative thing. Like, there comes to a point where you don't want to be Willie Mays stumbling around in center field at Shea Stadium. Like, that's always the example I give, because that's the one you saw more than anything else, you know? Deb says Russ is gone next year. Yep. Jay says, I think he's a competent quarterback, but nobody will want him. Listen, that's probably the nicest thing Jay has ever said about Russell Wilson.
It's very true.
He says he won't be a backup either. I agree there. Jay says, is Rob going to sing for us? Oh, we lost Rob. You suggested he should sing for us, and we officially lost him. So move over here for a minute there. Now you can see my lightsabers in the background again. Let's see. H-Town, Texas. Russ is better than anything Jones did. I don't know why everybody hates him. They should hate Joe, Dable, and company for letting Quadzilla leave. Listen, I don't think it's anybody hates Russell Wilson or doesn't agree that he's not better than anything the Giants have had. Like, that's obvious. Let's be very frank on that. That is as obvious as it gets. The big issue is that there are people that just don't like him because the way he talks and everything. He comes off as fake. He comes off as like politician-esque at that point there. And to be very frank, now the fan base is so excited about Jackson Dart, they want to see him. You know, that's what they want to see. Jay says, oh, there you go. Anthony says, Russ is winning 11 games. He isn't finishing this season. I'd agree with that kind of range. Again, depending on how he, how the season is going there. If we're in a playoff contention at that point, then maybe you see something a little different, you know?
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
Anthony says,
you kidding me?
More
Playoffs?
Dancing, the better, Jay.
I just hope we can win a game.
Jay says, I want to hear Rob sing now. Listen, when Rob comes back on in a second there, I don't know what happened. We lost him there. You can ask him how much it takes in Super Chats to hear him sing. And then he says, sing like that top of the line vacuum you sell. Up, and here comes Rob. We can find out now from him. Jay wants you to sing, Rob. So I told him he'd have to ask you how much it would take in Super Chats.
Oh, that's something we're gonna have to go with tomorrow night. We'll
That'd
figure
be
that out. Depends what you want me to sing.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh, that's a good point. What song? I would go with Macho Man by the Village People.
Nice.
That'd be a classic there for you. Jay says, sing. Oh, there we go. Sing like that top of the line vacuum. Vacuums. Anytime, boys. Again, man, appreciate it.
And thanks again.
He says Dart might play Sunday. Listen, it depends on how the game's going. I can't see. Oh, here we go. Jay says Elvis Presley's Can't Help Falling in Love.
For our cats. Wait for the super chats.
You got to give it a mouth. You can't just sing it. You just blew your load there.
Listen, I have to prove to the fans out there that at least I could dance or sing a little bit.
Listen,
I'm like Drew, that looked like he broke a hip when he was trying to dance.
I said point blank that I can't dance. Okay. Now singing.
Yeah, there's a difference between can't dance and have an aneurysm.
Like, yeah, I'm just saying this. Hey, listen, I said I can't. I said that point blank. I admitted to that. Did I ever say I was a good dancer?
Oh, you said you're a terrible dancer, Dan.
Yeah. Jay says you can't do worse than Drew. Sure he can. Sure he can.
That's true. Drew, did you watch that video?
No, I don't want to watch it. Honestly, I never will. Sean says, who will be the bigger X factor versus Washington? Dex or Burns on defense, Russ or Neighbors or Andrew Thomas on offense. Can the Giants play a rare game where they actually play well at all three phases?
Do you want the one overall or offense, defense, or in that situation? Because if we're going to go on defense here, I think the X factor comes.
Well, he did
Burns. I'm going to go with Burns on defense, and then I'm going to go with Thomas on offense because you know what you have with Sexy Dex being one of the best no sacks out there.
You don't even know still 100% of Andrew Thomas is going to be there. So I'm going to say Burns because he's a freaking beast this offseason, and I'm going to say Neighbors.
Well, we know Neighbors is going to be a top flight receiver and top 5 pick out there. Neighbors is there.
I feel he really needs to get something going with State Farm.
100% he's going to get that this year.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. The X factor is the person that's really going to step up and make a difference. So it's the person that's injured out there that you don't know how well he's going to be week 1. That's going to be your X factor because if he shows up and actually holds the pass rush to like an extra 2 seconds, if you will, or even a half second, gives you time to get out to Neighbors. It makes Russ look better. It makes Neighbors look better. Andrew Thomas, the X factor in the offense. If he's healthy.
Of him. That's good. Not even just if he's healthy and playing. I think it's still taking some time to get back to where he was. Like I think
that's why he's the X factor.
Yeah. Jay says, how big of a super chat for Bobby to serenade Deb with the song? We'd have to ask.
Well, we don't. I was about to say, where's I don't think singer could really sing.
You know what?
I think it's just a clever name.
What?
Bobby Singer.
Bobby Skinner?
No, Singer.
No.
I'm talking about the guy that directed X-Men.
Oh, no. I think he means Bobby Skinner, not Brian.
No, I'm pretty sure he meant Robbie. He meant me.
Oh, I think about Bobby Skinner. Because he didn't call you Bobby. Remember, because he tried to get me and Bobby Skinner to do a race together, he said. So I thought he was going back to that. Why am I being dragged into this? Well, you've met Jay. I don't know how else to explain this to you. Sean Jackson says, besides Abdul, which rookie could play the biggest impact versus Washington? Who could be the Giants' unsung hero versus Washington? First off, no, it's not Jackson Dart. Let me just be very clear on that. Yeah. It is not Jackson Dart. I'll tell you this, guys, just based on what you see from the rest of the rookie class and what the potential is, and I don't think he's going to be an X factor. I don't think he's going to be an unsung hero. I don't think he's going to be a big impact. But I'm just saying, if I had to put money on it, it'd be Cam Scatterboo. Just because of the position he plays. If he plays good as a running back, then all of a sudden, he's going to have a big impact. It's harder to have the impact from the defensive tackle position when you're playing against the big impact in Dexter Lawrence. It's hard to play a huge impact when you're the third string tight end. It's just, it is what it is. The backup offensive lineman is usually not the unsung hero. Unless they play him if Thomas is out and, Hudson is left on the bench like he should be. So, yeah.
Bo, maybe Bo. No.
Frenchie says, I think we humble Commanders week 1. And I gotta say, I don't know if you're French perhaps with that name or what the deal, but it's reminding me very much of there's a band that goes to a lot of cons and all, because yes, I'm that kind of nerd that goes to cons, called Frenchie and the Punk. And they're actually very good. But appreciate you tuning in. Let's see. H-Town, Texas says, it's a brutal schedule. No need to get Dark killed. The first 9 games alone is terrifying, even at Saints. So just let Russ run for his life. Yeah, and that's why Deb said, maybe you wait to see how the offensive line does first. Let's see.
It's like Anthony, you watched football before, Dad.
Anthony says, we talked about this. That wasn't even dancing of the day. Anthony says, I'm going to say the defensive X factor actually be Tibbs because one-on-ones he should be seeing, so he should have high production that everyone is overlooking. Yeah, no, I mean, I would definitely.
I will give you that also because look at what 40% of Tibbs' sacks against the Commanders.
That's true, but that was before they got tackles. That's part of the problem
Right.
is they have really good tackles now. So I don't know. It's hard for me to get too like hyped up for one of the edge rushers like that in this game specifically, unless they're playing over the rookie. Like if you're playing against Tunsil though, and we'll have to see where they line up Tibbs, where they line up Burns. But Burns has been just such a beast this offseason that I really think that you're seeing a step up from him. You really are. Like he's been working with Dexter Lawrence specifically and picking his brain and what he's been doing, which is crazy because Brian Burns is definitely one of the top tier edge rushers, but you're talking the best nose tackle in all of football. So yeah. Let's see. Anthony says, I was just thinking about that, Deb. Jay says, does Scamaboo even pass black? Oh my gosh. He says, Keith Elias all over again. Wow. That's just rude.
Haters gonna hate.
Rude. In the words of Stephanie Tanner, how rude.
Hey, cut it out.
Okay. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and pay the bills real quick here. We're already an hour in, and then we're going to go over keys to the game, keys to victory for the New York Football Giants here.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All righty, guys. And also should give you a little note on the merchandise store, which of course is in the link as well. I got an email over the weekend. They were out of the notepads for some reason, but they are back in stock there. So if anybody was interested in one of the notepads, they are officially back in stock there. All right. See, as also Jay says, the Eagles stuff is cool on the merch, which obviously is not pro Eagles, guys, if you can't figure that out. Let's see here. Jason Newman, Okereke, people just talk about the defensive line. H-Town, Texas says hopefully the secondary pulls together. And Banks actually earns his check because Flott ready to take a spot for sure. Belton gets some run. He has a sense of where to be and makes plays. The problem is he makes big plays and makes very big bad plays too. Jason's dad brought all the notepads. I don't know what happened. All I know is they got out of stock there. I got an email about them. I don't think it was us specifically. It was the notepads in general, because they use the same notepads for a lot of people, and they just print the whatever you put on the front there, obviously. So, but like I said, I just prefer to give people a heads up just in case. So, all right, let's get into the keys to victory here for the Giants. Because listen, guys, the Giants are big underdogs, and we will get into the the exact picks and the spreads and that kind of stuff tomorrow on our picks episode. Shameless plug. But today we need to talk about the actual football game itself, not the betting action here. So, keys to victory for the Giants. The first one, and this is a big one here, guys. Take away Jayden Daniels' mobility. This kid is really good on the run. This kid is a guy who's just point blank good at improvising when he has to. And I always think that the best way to get a mobile quarterback in a funk, so to speak, is to take part of what makes him special away. And that's what makes him special, point blank, is his ability to go ahead and move around.
He is a new age gunslinger, is what he is.
Yes.
Like, usually when you say that, you think about a Peyton Manning, you think about a Brett Favre, but he's a guy that gets out of the pocket sometimes when he needs to, and will still throw the ball. Like he's a little better throwing it into coverage, but like he is a guy that will move the ball. He doesn't like typically run down the field as much as some of these mobile quarterbacks, but he's a mobile behind the line.
Yeah.
And to take that away, which is what you do with any gunslinger quarterback, if you take it away, it puts pressure on him and take away his ability to move.
Yeah. And you force him to play in a style he doesn't play usually. That's what it boils down to. So, second thing, listen, guys, the Commanders, if they are like they are last year, and again, week 1, you never know what's going to be. Commanders averaged 28.5 points per game last year. That was 6th best in the NFL. So it was a really good offense. We've talked about it. They improved the offensive line. They've had Deebo Samuel now to be their second wide receiver. So, got a second year of Jayden Daniels, which always has the potential to improve. Like, it could even be a little bit of a better offense than it was last year. The Giants, point blank, and this is going to sound like a cop-out almost, because I always make the joke when people say, what's the key to victory? Score more points. Like, yeah, that's what you do. You score more points, and all of a sudden you win a game. That's what happens. But the Giants are going to have to put up some points, guys. There's nothing – listen, I don't care how good this defense is. When you are talking about a team that usually puts up almost 30 points a game, you can't put up 12 points and expect to win.
Yeah, and you said they averaged 20. They averaged 28, right?
28.5 points.
28.5 points. So with us, they averaged 24 points last year. So like,
yeah,
we had the ability with less of the defense we have now and the high power offense to keep them down. Like, yeah, score more points and let your defense rock this quarterback and let them not put up as many points.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I'm kind of looking at. Like, okay, and again, year to year, everything changes. We always say that, especially the first couple weeks of an NFL season, so you don't know fully what you got. Year to year, it changes. But here's what I'm looking at is, again, 28.5 points. Let's say hypothetically the Giants keep them down to, let's say, like 20 points or 17 points. And that's a really good, a really good defensive showing at that point for that team. If you only put up 14 points in offense, that doesn't matter. We have to put up points. We have to put up legitimate NFL offense points. And again, I'm not saying 30 points like I'm saying that this team could do. We've seen it. But in the end, you got to go ahead and put up 20, 25 points a game at least to give this defense a shot to hold them down enough for us to win. Like, you can't be putting up 14 points like we were doing last year, 17 points.
Yeah, I mean, I forget the average last year of the winning teams was, I think it was like 22. It was like one of the lower years of points put on the board, but as you're looking up, it's like 22, 24.
So 21.8 was 23. It went down to 21.4 last year.
So yeah, you put up that 24 points, 25 points, like Drew said.
Yeah,
you win a lot of games, especially with the. I mean, once again, if your defense doesn't allow points on the board, you get away with that, but you don't want to risk it. And with this offense, if we're averaging about 17.8, I think last year, or something like that.
I can look it up here real quick.
You definitely have the ability with more talent around you to get some more points.
16.1 points per game, the Giants, ranking 31st out of 32nd. Yeah.
They were last.
Yeah, we weren't quite last. But that's what I'm saying. We just got to be legitimate seeing the defense, the offense do their part of the job too as well. Next key, and this kind of goes along with the very first key, to be honest there. Get to the QB early and get to him often. We said before about Jayden Daniels. He's about 15 pounds undersized. He's only 210 pounds. But average quarterback in the league is 225. We did very well against the Commanders in the past. Week 2, we sacked him 5 times, which was the most he was sacked all year long. So the Giants have had some success. We talked about it though. This is a new offensive line here for the Commanders. They've really changed both tackle positions here, and they've gone ahead and changed it out there and upgraded spots, especially Laremy Tunsil. That's a huge upgrade. Let's not lie about that. Like we call it out like it is, regardless of what team it is. Laremy Tunsil is a massive upgrade at the left tackle position. He's one of the very few tackles in the league that even you could say is potentially better than a healthy Andrew Thomas. It's a legit statement. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but it's a legit conversation.
Yes. That's very fair.
Yeah. So we're going to have to do it. And I think the big guy who has the big game here is going to have to be Dexter Lawrence to a certain degree to push that middle, because that's where they're more susceptible. I think if you push him the middle at that point, maybe you put Abdul Carter, the off-ball linebacker, have him blitzing up the gut as well. And all of a sudden you create pressure from spots they can't control it. And that's going to force him outside at that point, which is going to give the option for Thibodeau and Brian Burns to potentially clean it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm curious to see what they do. I think having Tunsil week 1 is something I actually enjoy, because I want to see how this team does against a top tier left tackle. So, we got a couple of early on tests here for some new Giants as well. Paulson and Deebo going against Terry McLaurin. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Again, we've said coming off a broken leg. Like, I don't know if somebody wished him good luck before a game or something, but he's got a tough task week 1. Terry McLaurin, while we've said before, he's not going to be the guy to go. He's one of the best wide receivers in the entire game. Like, he's not going to be the guy to have a 15, 16, 1,700 yard season. But he's a consistent 1,000, 1,100 kind of yards guy. He's like Mike Evans without the touchdowns.
I just saw it fair because Mike Evans has the Mike Evans at least has some better quarterback play.
But he's consistently a 1,000, 1,100 yard guy. Yeah. He's not in the 15, 16.
Terry got that off of Howell. Like, he's got that off.
I get it, and that's what I'm saying.
Play.
He's a legit guy. I just think he's a B tier receiver. He's not an A tier receiver. And that's not a disrespect when I say that, because that's still B. I mean, if you look at what he's done, rookie year, 900 yards, then 1,100 yards, 1,000 yards, just under 1,200 yards, just barely over 1,000, and just under 1,100. So I'm saying he's not the guy that gets 13, 14, 15, 1,600 yards. He's not Chase. He's not even A.J. Brown. He's not C.D. Lamb. He's not, Malik Neighbors. Like, he's not that kind of category. He's not Justin Jefferson. He's not, I can go on and on. Receivers that are better than him. I would even say I would take St. Brown over him. Tyreek Hill, if it wasn't for last year, you would say that as well. Puka Nacua, I would take over him.
He's in Puka category. Well, but he's got more. He's got more thread. I would say Scary Terry is like an A-. To put him, say, straight B, he's like a
B+. How about a B+? We'll be in the middle.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
B+. I'm just saying.
He's like a.
It's a good week though task for him. I think
it is because listen, if you're going to fantasy, like, let's go back to the fantasy world, and you're drafting in a 12-man league, he's probably your top 10, top 12 going off the board receiver.
That's an age at Fantasyland.
I win fancy money, which equals real money.
Oh my gosh! Now, Deebo though is not the only guy who has a legit task that first week here. Last year was a big resurgence for a guy that a lot of people thought was washed up, and Zach Ertz, former Eagle tight end, went to the Cardinals for a couple of years, went to the Commanders last year, 654 yards and 7 touchdowns as a tight end. That's a legit season, guys. They may not be Travis Kelce-esque number or something like that, or George Kittle, but that's a legit tight end number for a guy who's been doing it in the league for a long time. One of the biggest additions we had this offseason was Javon Holland, who point blank was brought in for his coverage abilities. This is a good first test to see what Javon Holland does, having to cover a guy who's a very, very crafty tight end. And I don't mean what a Joanne. I mean, he's crafty. He's got that guy that finds a way to get open. He's obviously lost a little bit as far as his speed and stuff like that because he's getting up there. But he just runs such good, solid routes at that point. He just knows how to find a way. So, I'm curious to see Holland on Earth specifically. I don't know if they're going to put him on there exclusively, but that's what we brought him here for, point blank, guys, is because he's supposedly a very good cover safety. So I'm very curious to see that matchup specifically. One last thing that I have here for you guys. We got to get a running game going. Like that was something that if you want to go ahead and stop a high-powered offense, you know what you do? You slow it down.
Slow the game down.
2 reasons for that. 1, you're going to win the time of possession. 2, you're also going to go ahead and give your defense a rest. So they come in nice and rested against the offense next time around. So we're going to need a big game here to Tyrone Tracy. That's point blank who a guy we need to have a big game off of. Now, I will also include Scatterbo in the mix. I will include Motor in the mix. Like we need it all around. I would say Russell Wilson, but he might break a hip.
Broke a hip thinking about it.
I know, but he's just not the guy he used to be as far as running wise, But like I said, I think that's where it is. Is we got to go ahead and see a running game going, so that way we can control the clock. He who controls the clock controls the game. And that also includes Tracy. Hold on to the goddamn ball. So I have to include that as part of it. Like he's got to not just be a good running back. He's got to be a running back who holds on to the ball. Like I don't know if he's got to go have lunch with Tiki Barber and Tom Coughlin. But it's got to get done. Not that I think Tiki and Tom Coughlin would go to lunch together.
Not anymore.
A little more than anyway. All right, guys. We're gonna get to the rest of the comments here. If you guys have other additional keys to victory you want to add in, go ahead and add it on to the comments there. Also, thank you all for all encouraging and trying to bully people into hitting the like sign there, the thumbs up there. If you haven't already, guys, do a favor, do that, because that definitely does help us out big time as far as telling YouTube to go ahead and spread that out to other people there. Let's see here. Where we go? Okay, here we go. H-Town, Texas says for the Giants only be 6 points, it might be closer than many think. The Giants are going to have to prove to people they're a new Giants team. You can look at it as a Giants fan, look at it as an immediate person that goes to the training camp, because a lot of people that don't work for the Giants said point blank the Giants have a different feel and they felt like a different team this year.
Well, true. I mean, we're talking about getting out of here and reading the comments, but there's something that we forgot to do. Speaking about that,
what's
your final prediction of the game?
Where to get to that? I was going to get to the comments, give people a chance.
Oh, jeez. How people were commenting about that? All right, whatever. Let's go.
For the guy who wants to hold Jackson Dart back for 5 years.
Oh, stop. Jesus Christ. Half a year later.
You said a year and a half later. Anyway, Sean said, I agree with you.
It'll be half a year after you said. So
Tim usually has played well against Washington in the past, too. Let's see. He also says, H-Town, Texas says, highest coming team in the preseason. Hopefully it translates into the regular season. We'll see. Anthony says, oh, there we go. The more people like. Let's see. Jay says, hype preseason means nothing. Yeah, I mean, listen, at least it lets him go in with a positive attitude. Don't ever talk down the power of positivity. Or Huey Lewis's power of love. He says, unless it's Dart, LOL. See, he's playing the homer out there. H-Town Texas says, I meant scoring team in the preseason, and Dart isn't the answer against the schedule they have to face. He will get his whole confidence shattered, served on a plate. We'll see. I mean, that's the thing. Everything you do with a rookie quarterback is a gamble. Every single one. Jay says, it feels like 10 years ago since we used to beat the commies every time. It's only been a year. We almost beat them last year both times, guys. It's not like they whooped our butts. And let's be very frank, they were a much better team than us last year.
Hey, listen, we should have beaten week 1 and when it can't, or week 2, but when it came to the second meeting, like it was close enough. There were just a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not having a kicker really hurt us.
Well, that was week 1. Week 2. But yeah.
Jace says Tunsil overrated. Doesn't he get a shitload of penalties? Let's say yes, he does definitely get an overabundance of penalties compared to most tackles, but he's still a damn good tackle. H-Town says the secondary will have to hold this game. Daniels is good with pressure in his face, and we have to stop the run. So that has been an issue. Now, listen, I would not be shocked. I haven't scrolled down to see the rest of the comments yet. I wouldn't be shocked if some of y'all say point blank that stopping the run has to be one of the keys to the game as well, because quite frankly, that's the one thing that the Giants have not looked good at last year on defense before everybody got hurt, and did not look necessarily very good at that the preseason. The only reason I didn't have that on the list point blank is because I don't think they have really good running backs. Like, it's not what they do. They're going to be a run team. They're going to be a pass team. That's going to set up. They use the run, and that's set up by the pass, basically. Run the ball occasionally to throw you for a loop. But who knows? I could be wrong. Again, Brian Robinson had 133 yards on this day. I think I was at 133 yards. Look at my notes here.
133. 132.
That was like a quarter of his yards for the season. Like, that's, so who knows? Who knows? But I just think, to me, stopping Jayden Daniels is like number 1, 2, and 3 on a list of things to do. Jay says, great take, H-Town. So Jay says he's a middle of the road wide receiver 1. Yeah, I mean, that's accurate. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to knock him. He's still a damn good player. I'd take him on our team in a heartbeat. But he is definitely not an elite wide receiver. That's all I'm saying. So Jay says, so we pay this dude a ton of money and he's going to have trouble with an old tight end. I don't know. But again, almost 700 yards for that old tight end last year. That's a pretty damn good season. We're all excited about Theo Johnson, his 400 yards.
Yeah.
Let's like I said, we can be Giants fans and still be realistic about another team. Zach Ertz is a quality tight end. It may not be elite, but he's a quality above average tight end in this league. He's a Terry McLaurin of tight ends.
That's fair.
Like I said, he's right around that top, that middle of the road, tight end 1. H-Down says Tracy should have had more touches per game last season. He is a good player and a weapon for us. I think he was actually battling an injury that never really got disclosed fully, to be honest with you guys. And that happens every year that you don't hear about stuff, and then all of a sudden you find out. We talked about it with Bobby Okereke. He was battling an injury before he got out. I do think that, just based on how he was playing, but we'll find out. Maybe that'll come to pass whether we find out that kind of information. Jason, I think it was the fumbling. That's another possibility. I don't think the fumbling it's an issue, but I don't think it's enough of an issue where they're going to stop trying to develop a rookie running back.
Yeah.
Tyler says, who do we have to stop the run this year? Any improvements? Listen, they got an improved defensive line, that's for sure, I think, than last year. I'm not talking about the edge rushers. I'm talking about the big fatties up front there. Obviously bringing back Nacho and Dexter Lawrence, but, having Roy Robertson Harris on there, having Darius Alexander, who I expect will get better as the season progresses. Having a healthy also Bobby Okereke from the linebacker spot is going to help him stop the run as well. But again, as you said there, it's been a weak point. Damn straight, it's been a weak point. As Jay says, Darius Alexander laughing. Listen, I know it. He hasn't looked the best in the training camp. He's coming from a small school. He's going to take a little time to develop, I think. I still am not giving up on Darius Alexander. I can't do it. Can't do it. And Tyler says, they're starting Nacho over him? No. Yes, they are. They're starting him. And Tyler says, who are we going to have stop the run? That's what we've got. It is what it is for now. Jay says we won't. He said we get hammered every year. Tyler says, this pass rush will go to waste if we give up 5 yards per carry. We'll see. I mean, part of what it's going to have to be is the guys that we're counting on for the pass rush also have to play the run. They can't be one-dimensional. Like Dexter Lawrence has to be a big part of clogging up that middle. Burns and Thibodeau have to set that edge. They can't just get a sack a game and be happy and think they did a great grade and play Yannick Ngakoue style. Jay says, lots of beers and rushing yards given up. Well, always lots of beers. As he says, keys of the year. Jay says, I just feel like this is going to there's going to be a critical flaw this year that will tank us inside offensive line or run defense. It's hard to Rob, am I crazy for saying I don't think there is a way to tank us necessarily because we played so bad last couple of years that let's be honest here, guys. We can go 7 wins and we'd be happy.
I mean,
I'm not saying that's the goal, but I'm saying we could win 7. We could win 7 games and go 7-10 and go. You know what? We got some improvement.
Well, yeah. I mean, besides going to the playoffs, our last best season was 6 wins. So, like, you want to look at it like past 2 years, we had 9 wins. So if you go 7,
hope we can win a game.
you go 7, like it's way better.
That's what I'm saying. Like, unfortunately, the bar is set so low. That's what it boils down to. H-Town says just leaving the game healthy is a win because we can't afford no crazy first game injuries. It's teams losing O-line, D-line to injuries in practice. So healthy is the key, especially how Thomas pans out. 100%. As Tyler said, both. Jay says JMS is going to break out, and obviously being facetious here. Tyler's laughing at him here. Tyler said, wasn't Burns hurt all year last year? Yes, and played through it and played very well through it. A little slow start the first couple of games. We called him out a little on that, but he definitely week 3 or 4, all of a sudden he kind of turned a corner and started doing his thing. So Jay says, you got to be an above average player to go have an acronym. I'm sick of this stuff. Well, we go by just your first initial and Jay. I mean,
Are you above average?
This is RRH, JMS, ISM. Guillermo says, I hope Chapman gets some reps. He's got potential. He's on the practice squad. So unless he gets called up for the active duty there for that week, he's on the practice squad. So unfortunately, I like to see him get some reps. But I don't think he's the answer either the run defense thing we were talking about earlier. He's more of a pass rusher / fullback kind of guy. Jay says he needs a second last name. Would have given him a roster spot. Stop. Oh my gosh. All right, Rob, you want to go ahead and give your predictions here for the week 1 here for Washington Commanders?
I've gone back and forth on this game, and I just decided to go on a limb here. I do think it's going to be a nice nitty-gritty game, a fun game to watch. That's what they've done back and forth. No matter how bad one team was compared to the other, they've always played pretty much within a touchdown of each other. And I do think that's what's going to happen again with week 1. And there's a lot of changes to both teams here, but I do think the Giants could squeak this out here. And I think it's going to be a little odd here. Like, I think it's probably going to be like a 30 to 25 game with the Giants win. Like, I think it's going to be like a 2-point conversion miss kind of style game, and with one team trying to go with the next. And I think Giants win. I'm going to go like that 25 to 30.
So, listen, I'd love to be optimistic and tell you guys we're going to win. I have to go realistic when I'm giving you guys my predictions. And the Giants can definitely win this game. Do not get me wrong. The Giants definitely have a legitimate shot at winning this game as well. Like, I'm not saying that we're going to lose no matter what, and this is just done. I'm going to say point blank the Giants will lose this game 24-21. It's going to be that kind of close game. Listen, I have too much uncertainty with Andrew Thomas. That's my biggest obstacle for me right now. There's a lot of things I just don't know in general. Like, is Theo Johnson going to play? There's a lot of things we don't know. Now, we will get into the injury report, by the way, tomorrow for you guys, just to give you a heads up on that. So, but like I said, I think we barely lose this game. I think we keep it close, and we always do with the Commanders. We barely lose it. And listen, we said it before, Commanders are a good team. Like, it's not going to make us happy to lose, but it's not the, oh my God, this is the end of the world, we lost to the Commanders. Like, it's not that team anymore, guys.
I mean, through the years, it's Commanders have been one of those teams. Washington's been one of those teams that we've always played pretty well for the most part. And win or lose, it's always a close game.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm expecting here.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be a close game. Like it's a divisional rival. That's what it always is there. So, all right, let's see. H10 says Robinson is the 2 wide receiver. Will he be able to find himself easy looks with Slayton as deep threat and Bleak to double team? Yeah, I mean, the big thing is, can he catch the ball? He always gets open. It's a matter, can he catch the ball? And that's one thing he's going to have to work on if he wants to be a legitimate starting wide receiver for the next couple of years in this league. Because if he has the oopsies, dropsies like he had last year, it's going to be an issue. And he already had the one in the preseason. Killed the drive. I'm going to harp on that one until he does good. Go Big Blue says, when was the last year that injuries wasn't our biggest obstacle? I would say 2011.
Yeah.
He's not wrong in that. I mean, I don't know the exact year we haven't had the massive injuries, but it's been forever, that's for sure.
That's
yeah. Jason's 5'9" quarterback, throwing to a 5'6" wide receiver is going to be tough. Yes, it is. Jason's Rob pandering to the fans.
Nope. Listen, guys, bet me wrong.
Yeah. Jay says, I think this game is pretty much a coin flip that we will lose in excruciating fashion. Well, I mean, whenever it's a close game, it's going to be that one play. You're like, if this one thing didn't happen, we would have won. Like, that's what happens in close games. That's the aggravating part about it. And let's be honest, the Giants always have been known for playing close games. Like, they really have. So it's usually not a blowout for us. It's occasionally a blowout for the team with the injury issues we've had the last couple of years, but a lot of times it's close. So we'll see what happens. So, all right, guys. Again, we'll be back again tomorrow for y'all. We're going to do our pick show tomorrow, going over our picks for every single game within the NFL Week 1. Also running down any more news with the Giants and also going over the injury report as well for you guys there, since it's going to be the last episode before the actual live game there. Again, we'll be back also on Sunday with live play-by-play during the game at 1 o'clock there with myself, and also Rob and I will be on for the post-game coverage immediately when that final whistle blows at that point there. We also will have a guest on as well for that one as well. So, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Those episodes are already up on YouTube as well. So if you are on YouTube, the preferred way to watch the show, you can also go ahead and hit the notification button. So that way YouTube will let you know when we go live, because you just never know we're on live. Sometimes it's 9 o'clock, sometimes 9:05, sometimes 9:10. But guys, again, we appreciate you guys for watching, listening as always. As always, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, of course, with our game day coverage as well. As always, we are live on YouTube, the preferred platform, along with Facebook, Twitch, Twitter X, and of course, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms as well. Appreciate all our audio listeners on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, all the big ones there. So if you haven't already, guys, again, please do hit that like, subscribe, hit that share, tell a friend about the show, because point blank, we suck at marketing. So without your all help, basically no one is watching. So appreciate you guys very much. So we'll be back again. See you guys tomorrow night. Appreciate you guys as always. And as always, Giant fans,
Go J-Man! J-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.